to Midday. We are joined by Manshadi from Manshadi Pharmacy. It's great to have you back on the show.
Thank you for having me again, Susan.
Yeah, we're talking today about something that nobody really ever wants to get, and that is lice. But you know what? Lice is one of those things that can crop up. It happens often in classrooms, but there are things you can do to help prevent.
Correct. We have constantly outbreaks of lice in our school, in our community. It can cause physical, emotional, and psychological problems. And it affects 100 million people annually throughout the world. It's a huge problem.
Wow.
That I would like to maybe shed some light on.
Well, let's do that. But first of all, I, of course, had to go to the internet and get some close-up pictures of these little fellas. We have some pictures of these little guys.
Yes.
Here's a very amplified picture. But when they are amplified, they're not that pretty. They really aren't.
So as you see, they're usually tan to white grayish color. And you can see it through a naked eyes. They are between 1 to 3 millimeters.
Okay.
Usually they are crawl on the scalp. They need to be close to the scalp in order to be alive. They hatch up to 10 eggs a day, and these eggs will hatch between 6 to 12 days. They will hatch out. So
fast reproducing.
Yeah. So they do have up to 10 eggs per day, and it hatches between 6 to 12 days. They hatch out. They are out there. We do see some people, they are not successful to get rid of it. And so we have some suggestion for that too.
So let's first talk about the fact and debunk the myth that, oh, if you get lice, you're dirty and you don't shower or bath enough. It can happen to anyone. It has nothing to do with sanitary.
No, it doesn't have to be, it can happen to everyone. It actually happened to one of my children. And they are reasonably clean, and I don't think it has to do with the hygiene. However, you can perhaps it can increases the chance of getting it if you don't have a good hygiene, but it doesn't have. It's not related to the hygiene.
Okay.
Yes.
Do they, like what I've always heard is that they will jump from one head to another. If you're quite close to someone, they can jump and make the jump over to somebody else's hair. Is that true?
That is not true. That is basically the only way we can get infested with lice is we have a head-to-head contact, or hair-to-hair contact, or sometimes very occasionally if you use the personal items of other individuals, such as their hat, their scarf,
hairbrush,
and the hairbrush, and so forth. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, is there prevention? Can we talk about that a little bit? Are there ways to sort of limit the possibility of getting it?
Correct. So let's say you hear that there is an outbreak in the school. Some people, they use citronella oil in their shampoo or tea tree oil in their shampoo, and they just before they go to school or to work, they might apply some. There is some literature that they say it has a repellent properties. However, the best approach, in my opinion, if you hear something like that is happening in the school, even if your child is not complaining about itching, you just use a wet comb method, which is basically we use a comb, which is especially is for lice, and we use it from a scalp and all the way down, and we are close to the sink, and we just check it to make sure that there is nothing there.
Sure.
So that would be an awesome prevention. So you wet the hair basically, and you use the comb, and you comb it out. This way, we can do a prevention and catch the lice before they get their eggs done.
Okay, so now let's suppose that you have lice or your child has contracted lice. So what are the tools to get rid of it?
That is a good question. Please, when you go to a store, talk to the pharmacist.
Yes.
They will give you a product and buy a comb. The first thing you want to do before you apply the product, the pharmaceutical or pesticide product, you want to make sure that you wash the clothing, the bedding, as well as any personal item that is not, you cannot wash it. You may want to put it in the garbage bag and put it maybe in the garage for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
After that, you can use a wet comb method first. So again, you use the comb and you wet the hair, and you will comb out the eggs, perhaps the lice, and at the end you apply the product. And so that is basically what we usually recommend to do.
Is it a shampoo, Misa, or what exactly?
It is. It's a shampoo
Okay.
that you leave on the scalp for 10 minutes or so, and it will basically, it's like a pesticide, and it will kill it.
Okay.
Correct. However, some people they may have a lice and not knowing it, because lice, when they suck the blood out of the scalp, and they produce a saliva, and some people have allergic reaction to it, so they have an itchiness, and some people they don't. So if you don't have allergic reaction to it,
You might not know.
You might not know, and delaying the diagnosis.
Yes.
So that's why I think it's important to do that wet comb method when you hear it in the school that there's something like that is happening.
Prevention. Excellent. We're out of time, Misa. A very great topic for this time of the year, because I understand this is more the likely time that we could see this happening.
Yes, it's a back to school, and
Yeah.
I hear that some schools having this problem.
Okay.
And one more thing I wanted to mention to you: sometimes they say students they should not to go to school. I don't think that is necessary, because it causes a shame and
Absolutely.
embarrassment for the child. It's really not a big evidence that they will transmit the lice to everyone else. It would be good that the child get the treatment, and tell to the child, don't, if it is possible, avoid the contact head to hair and hair to hair, and avoid to perhaps share the personal items.
Yeah.
But they can go to a school, and we do not have to shame and embarrass the children for that.
Awesome. We are out of time. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure to have.
Yeah. And if you're wondering about those products and what you can use should your child end up getting lice, there are absolutely treatments available. You can talk to Misa about that yourself if you'd like to. The information is on the screen. We're back after a quick break. Stay with us.